Battle through the firmament. Great world. Chapter 426. Nan Tian miscalculated. It's decided, isn't it? While Zhu Tianhou and Su Yuhan were talking, the huge bear in the distance suddenly opened its mouth, its voice rumbling like thunder. These two little fellows are having a duel here. The rest of you can continue climbing the mountain. You are not allowed to stay here. As soon as the giant bear finished speaking, the snow-white tiger-shaped heavenly beast also spoke. Its voice was filled with determination, and the presence spreading out from it was not inferior to that of the giant bear at all. Hearing this, everyone present was slightly stunned. They had originally wanted to watch the battle between the two. This way, if they wanted to know who would win and who would lose in the end, wouldn't they only find out when they reached the peak? Do you need us to say it a second time? Spiritual light surged in the giant bear's eyes. It looked at Ma Huyang and then at Xuan Qingyi. It could tell that these two were the leaders of the two teams. Got it. Ma Huyang nodded. It was the rule. He did not want to say anything. He was silent for a while and then waved his hand, turned around, and left. Lin Dao also followed without saying anything. Xiaoyan hesitated for a moment. He looked at Zhu Tianhou on the arena and pursed his lips. Suddenly, he said in a clear voice, "Zhu Tianhou, I will wait for you at the top." Xiaoyan smiled gently after he spoke and quickly left. At this moment, it was futile no matter what he said. In the face of an opponent whose strength was unknown, maintaining a calm heart was also an extremely important point. You are long-winded. Zhu Tianhou didn't turn around. His thick skin trembled slightly and he let out a cold laugh. However, the girl in front of him wasn't simple either. At the same time that Ma Huyang and the rest turned around and left, Xuan Qingyi and the other girls cheered for Su Yuhan. Although they were rather displeased, due to the strength of the giant bear and the tiger-shaped heavenly beast and Xuan Qingyi, the few girls could only leave resentfully. Right, Ma Huyang, I hope that the next time we meet, it will still be you guys. All of a sudden, Xuan Qingyi turned around and looked at Ma Huyang with her beautiful eyes. She called out to him and let out a pleasant laugh. I can't ask for more. After all, compared to the Southern Sky and the Star Sky Academy, the Glaze Academy is a soft persimmon. Without waiting for Ma Huyang to speak, the indignant Wu Shaoqi had already loudly responded. When Xuan Qingyi heard this, her pretty face changed. She pointed at the distant Wu Shaoqi and gritted her teeth, unable to say anything. Qingyi, let's go. When Kiara by the side saw this, she gently pulled Xuan Qingyi's clothes and her voice was so low that it was almost inaudible. I am so angry. Xuan Qingyi angrily turned around. It was not just her. The other two students also had cold expressions on their faces. This Yunlo Academy was really too arrogant. Zhu Tianhou, give that girl a good beating. Just as she was about to lift her leg and leave, Wu Shaoqi, who was already far away, once again shouted loudly. When it reached Xuan Qingyi and the others' ears, it immediately caused the beautiful eyes to shoot out flames. Yuhan, you have to beat that brat until he looks for his teeth all over the ground. Even though Chen Lu and Yuan Xian were holding her as she left, Xuan Qingyi was still like a shrew throwing a tantrum as she cried out loudly. She no longer had the previously calm and collected demeanor. Annoying woman. The huge bear gritted its teeth and shook its huge head in exasperation. The tiger-shaped heavenly beast by the side also nodded in agreement when it heard this. When it thought of the tigress at home, its huge body trembled. Turning the gazes to the arena, Zhu Tianhou and Su Yuhan both had calm expressions and were completely unaffected by Wu Shaoqi and Xuan Qingyi. Let's begin. The huge bear lazily laid on the huge rock, waved its furry paws, and said in a deep voice. Boom! The instant his voice fell, Zhu Tianhou and Su Yuhan rushed towards each other explosively at the same time. They instantly started fighting. How's Zhu Tianhou's strength? After leaving the location of the arena far behind, the few of them stopped in their tracks. Ma Huyang hurriedly looked at Xiaoyan. He was the one who returned to the academy on the last day and did not know about Zhu Tianhou's strength. Although he had once seen the latter fight with Xiaoyan in the inner courtyard competition, he was far from being able to compare with now. Xiaoyan heard this and pondered for a moment. He looked at Lin Dao and Wu Shaoqi and said softly, "When I just broke through to the Monarch Emperor and came out of the illusory spirit space, I had a fight with Zhu Tianhou. Both of you are witnesses. Can you tell Zhu Tianhou's strength? In that match, although neither of them used any life and death techniques, Zhu Tianhou had also displayed the monarch skill that he had comprehended from the sacred spirit fire body. The power was so great that Lin Dao couldn't help but exclaim. It's hard to say. At that time, you only knew how to dodge and not attack. Who knows what level he has reached?" Wu Shaoqi immediately recalled what happened after Xiaoyan's reminder. She widened her eyes and said with a puffed-up face, "If he has made any progress these days, with his strength of 3 peak of Monarch Emperor and his combined attack, he can even fight a true 7 Monarch Emperor." Lin Dao thought for a while and said what he was thinking. 7 Monarch Emperor, not bad. Ma Huyang gently nodded his head when he heard this. The worry in his heart also disappeared. Xiaoyan also smiled when he heard this. His eyes paused slightly. He thought of the last 2 days of cultivation that the Great Elder had arranged for them, and the help of the rich fire source key there. His strength had improved tremendously, let alone Zhu Tianhou. Although the latter's strength hadn't advanced, his control over the origin key in his body had improved. Presumably, he had reached a very familiar level. Let's continue our journey. It would be even better if we can obtain another battle command. Ma Huyang nodded at everyone. If nothing unexpected happens, our next opponent will most likely be the Southern Sky Academy. Not only that, this island isn't that simple. Perhaps our opponent will also be the Star Sky Academy. Xiaoyan narrowed his eyes and said in a low voice. A few days ago, he had a conversation with Xiao. Although he wasn't familiar with the Star Moon Island, he had a good understanding of its mysteries. The 4 academies competition was the one who determined the strength of each academy during the battle. This way, the 4 great academies would fight in groups of 2. It is also possible. Ma Huyang nodded, agreeing with Xiaoyan's words. After resting for a while, they moved again and flew towards the top of the mountain. After so many days of turning, they had already deviated from the original direction, and their opponents had also changed. I think it's better if you don't touch that hand. On the other side of the island, on a hill, there was an arena. On top of the arena was Xiang Hao from the Star Sky Academy. At this moment, Xiang Hao was lightly waving his green robe, his arms crossed in front of his chest. His face was indifferent, and there were a few bloodstains on his robe. However, not a single drop belonged to him. On the opposite side, a fat man with an ugly expression stood on the spot. One of his arms fell down powerlessly. Blood continuously dripped from the tiger's wound, dyeing the ground red. "You Yanchao, you didn't expect this, did you? You thought you were an expert of Southern Sky Academy, but you came here to fight me instead of challenging Shi Kanghai. You have really underestimated the strength of Star Sky." Xiang Hao retracted his hands. His eyes were full of smiles as he looked at Lu Yanchao. Lu Yanchao's expression became even uglier when he heard this. Initially, he thought that with his strength, even if it was Kang Feng, he could still exchange a few rounds with him. He thought that he could eliminate a strong opponent for Southern Sky Academy. He had neglected the weakest Shi Kanghai and Xiang Shaoshan, who was the Heaven's Chosen One of Star Sky Academy. He had never thought that this guy in front of him would be so powerful that it was hard to imagine. Are you going to admit defeat or die? Xiang Hao walked forward slowly. We have given the Southern Sky Academy preferential treatment. Xiang Shaoshan has chosen you from the Southern Sky Academy and let you choose whatever you want from us. If you choose me, you have to be prepared to lose or die. Right. Standing beside Lu Yanchao, Xiang Hao was full of smiles. I. Lu Yanchao's eyes were red, and his heart was bleeding. This was the biggest miscalculation of Southern Sky Academy. What? Xiang Hao moved closer and his smile became even wider. I admit defeat. Lu Yanchao gritted his teeth and slowly squeezed out these 3 words from his teeth. The moment he said those words, his entire body went limp and he almost fell to the ground. Chapter end. Please guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.